Hi.
All right. So, welcome back to another edition of NASET TV. We are fully staffed today, which is great.
Woo!
Love having our coaches here. Um, and on that same note of coaches, we're going to be calling the show today the top 5 questions entrepreneurs ask. So, being a coach to entrepreneurs mean that you get asked a lot of questions. So, what are the top questions that you guys always get asked, and how do you answer them? So, first, what are the questions, Brett?
Let's see. One of the favorite ones are there business grants? And there are some, but generally the answer is no for a lot of our clients. I mean, yes, you can go after SBIR and some of the Arizona Commerce Authority grants, but generally there's not that much money available that's just handed to entrepreneurs. So we get that a lot. It's like, oh, somebody's going to give me money to start this. And the answer is generally, no, they're not.
Yeah, I think the best bet for funding is a personal loan. And I hear a lot of people say, don't put your money to start a business on a credit card. But if you really believe in your business that much and it's a great, it's going to solve a problem, or it's a great idea, which I hate to hear, if you really believe in it, put it on the credit card. And if you're not willing to do that, then why are you asking other people for money?
The number one question I get is it a good idea?
No.
It's never a good idea.
My big issue with the great idea is this a good idea thing is that businesses don't. Business needs to solve a problem rather than have an idea and shove it down everyone's throat.
Are we still asking the questions that we're most asked?
Yeah, what's your most
We
asked
keep
question?
answering them.
Yeah.
Answer.
Right. Are we supposed to answer or ask?
Just ask.
Some of the questions I get are, can't I have somebody else write my business plan for me? Well, then it's their business plan, not yours. I mean, I think traditional business planning is pretty antiquated, but the answer is basically no. Oh, wait. Are we just asking or are we answering? I think we are incapable of asking questions without answering them. That's my theory for today.
Yeah, I agree.
Or one of the other questions related to business plans is, do I really need a business plan?
Mm.
And what I tell them is, I don't really care whether or not you get it all down on paper, but I do want to make sure that you've given thought to all of the factors that go into a business plan.
Are you answering your own question, Trish?
It's okay, right?
Yeah, that just means I won't ask her when it comes to the lightning round there.
Okay, so I guess I didn't get the rules, but I'm not.
That's all right.
I'm not a rule follower.
We knew that about you.
I get a
I
lot
don't
of
think any of us are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are we
really.
looking entrepreneurs?
Say that again?
So I get a lot of questions on pricing. How much should they charge for their product or service?
Do you give them the right answer?
Questions
Great answer, yes.
I give them the right answer. Where do I find my customers? How do I find out what they want?
Yeah. Do you get questions on who are my customers?
Yeah. Who are my customers? Where do I find my customers? How do I find out what they want? That's usually after we tell them, no, not everyone is your customer.
Ah, yes.
Market questions.
Yes. Yes.
Money questions. Do you guys get a lot of money questions too?
Yeah. How do I get funding?
Yep.
How do I get funding? Who will fund me?
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't people just giving me
Where do I get my
money?
free money?
Well, that was how Brett started. I get a lot of questions on pro formas and projections. How do you project if you don't already know?
Ah, good question.
We have answers.
So
know
we're saying all these questions. Are we supposed to be answering, or what are we supposed to be
I
doing?
don't know, Grant. What are the rules again?
Yeah,
So,
what are the rules?
I'm letting you guys, I'm trying to let you guys be cannons out there and just shoot a bunch of questions, and then I'm writing down some of the good ones that, or at least a lot of them that I think are pretty good that you guys could, elaborate for like 15 to 30 seconds on that. We could say, all right, give me your Reader's Digest version of this answer in 15, 30 seconds for anyone listening, and then it moves on to the next person.
I'd like to know how you decided which questions that we're asking that are not good questions, Grant.
I'm writing them all down as best as I can here, and then I'll pick from there. How about that?
Yeah, he works for me.
The internet's not giving me everything everybody says anyway, so.
All right, so keep shooting questions. I know you guys have more. There are more people who come into the business.
I actually think that most of the questions that we are commonly asked by clients over and over and over again have come out. They are about customers and money and pricing and all the stuff that feels uncertain. If you assume that the people starting the businesses are subject matter experts for the most part, they know a product, but they may not know the rest of the business. So, I mean, sometimes we get questions about who should I hire first, or how do I hire somebody, or how do I hire somebody who will take my business as seriously as I do? Those are common questions too. But I think we get the same questions over and over.
And I also think it goes back to the whole idea that they don't always know what they don't know yet. So we get a lot of the same kinds of questions. I call them, they're kind of like entry questions. How do I get funding? How do I hire people? Depending on where they are in their business, I think we get they're kind of those questions are thematic.
So quick question for you guys. Do you guys have a plan, or do you guys have either a platform or something to where, someone comes in for a question, they get it answered? Are they supposed to come back in and ask you another question when they have it, or is there an email? Like how? I'm not sure if you guys have a process to this.
Yeah, we only let them ask one question per visit.
Yeah, that's it.
And they have to come in to ask it. They may not do it via email or on the phone.
I'm sorry, Grant, that wasn't fair of us.
They're apparently all just a little bit loopy today.
We're great.
Air conditioning.
So
other questions people ask are, what kind of structure should I have? Should I have an LLC? Should I have an S corp? Those are questions because nobody really knows what is going to be the best choice for them. And the other thing, along with pro formas, is people have a lot of questions about what they need to be concerned about in terms of their financials. Very few people know how to set up their own accounting system.
Oh yeah, get that. Well, few people even realize they should have an accounting system, it seems, but we have to convince them that's a good idea sometimes. We have a lot of questions often about like the differences between an employee and a contractor too, or whether they can just make everybody a contractor.
Yeah.
You get questions about licensing, sales tax license, city license, because I get a lot of those.
All the time.
We also get questions about IP and patents.
Mm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
and a lot of times,
we get how do I keep somebody from stealing my idea?
Yes.
Which I have a great but unpopular answer.
Answer it. We're going to start the lightning round now. Go for it.
Okay,
Right,
what's your
I get you first.
You're up.
If you tell somebody about your idea and they actually get it into the market before you do, they were either already farther along that road than you were, or you deserved to be beaten.
Yeah.
No, is that beaten with a stick beaten? Or just
No,
beaten
not beaten with a stick, just beat to market. Is that what you said? What is
Sorry,
wrong with us today? Seriously.
The other one is
This
the
is
other
good.
answer
What are
is
you talking about?
there's no
We're all
new-
very
there's
silly.
There's no new idea, so somebody's already had the same idea you had. So it doesn't really matter. The idea doesn't matter. It's getting into market first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Execution of the idea.
Yeah,
What
getting
happened
it
to
to market.
Trish? She disappeared.
She said, "Excuse me," and ran off. So.
Oh.
If the idea isn't solving a problem, then the idea is out there already. And the fact that nobody's doing it, I think, is suspect. because there isn't anything new under the sun.
Somebody said that once.
I mean, most of the ideas we...
We're going to move on to the next one. I like this one. Where do I find my customers?
On the internet.
Yeah.
So I love this one because it usually means that they are required to go talk to people. And
Yes.
Especially in the beginning, it really means that they have to go. I mean, I just say, who do you know? Can I pick your brain? I'll take you to coffee or lunch. Can I pick your brain? And that's how they need to get started. It sounds, it's not scalable, but it's the best way to get started.
It comes down to ideas too versus problems. If you're solving a problem, you already have customers and you know who they are because they've got the problem.
Yeah.
If you've just got an idea and you're trying to throw it out there, then you've got to go out and find who might possibly want that idea.
Yeah, makes it hard.
It makes it very hard.
Yeah, I think you're right, Way. I think it's when someone comes to us and says, I have a product now, who do I sell it to? That we have to go back to that question and help them ask that.
Yeah.
Who is your customer? Why did you create it? Why would they want to buy it? Did you design something they need? And making sure you're
Yeah,
running
they think they have gotten so far before they come to us, and then we take them back to square one.
Yes, we often do.
Well, but I mean, I think if you haven't done a customer profile, that is probably the first best thing to do. And don't write a generic customer profile. Name an actual human that fits your profile and describe them. Because if you're using a real person as your archetype, it's a whole lot easier to think of other people that might have the same problem as a real person. But as soon as you make them generic by making a composite person, you have a really hard time finding people that turn out to be just like a fictional profile. So use real people as examples of your customers.
Yeah, agreed.
I agree. The generic customer is it never works.
So then Annette's question, I like this one too, is how do you project without knowing?
Do you want me to
What
answer
is
that too?
Anyone
what is
can.
the that we always use that what's the same thing you'll know about every financial that they're incorrect? Is that your projections are always being correct?
You're always going to guess. Yeah.
It's
Well,
a
it's just a guess, and you have to be able to explain your assumptions. But projections that are built off of, percentage of the market are total garbage. You have to build projections up from the ground. So how many can you actually sell? At what price point? How do you know you're going to sell that many? And then just start to explain the assumptions that went into it. I think I can make 10 sales calls a day. I think 2 out of those 10 are going to say yes. The average size of that sale is going to be X, and you build it up from there. Because if you say, I only need to get 1% of the market, that's useless. No investor puts money onto that. You can't build a company on that.
And the other
And
side,
that percentage is always overestimated.
You can figure out what something costs just by making some calls. What do the ingredients cost? What do the parts cost? What does the labor cost? Add those things up, and you've got the other half of your equation.
Yeah, I think there's a certain amount of legwork that needs to be done to gather that information.
Did you say mud work?
Leg work.
Legwork.
Our connection sometimes is a little shaky.
Sometimes it's muddy.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's cool. I'll start using that term with clients. That's
mud work. I like that.
Well, they don't like it. I know that much.
It is a dirty job.
Yeah, nobody wants to go and nobody wants to look at the numbers because that might crush the dream. Oh wow, it's going to cost more than I thought, or it's going to be out of people's price range, whatever. They're really often very fearful of looking at the numbers, the hard numbers sometimes.
I think numbers just scare people in general.
Well, and it feels like a commitment that they probably are afraid to make. If I put down my sales projection and I don't make it, does that mean I'm not good at this? I think a lot of think a lot of startups are afraid to commit to a number. And that's, I mean, the nature of goals is that if you don't commit to something, you don't reach anything. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid to put numerical goals together.
Yeah. See it every day.
So
Well, and this,
it sounds like the themes that have come out of this are that, one, thankfully entrepreneurs come to us with their questions versus just winging it and making mistakes that are hard to fix. But it sounds like a lot of the questions center around money, whether it's getting money or how to handle money or something like that. And the other big questions center around customers. So am I missing another general category?
No, money, customers, sometimes hiring. IP and hiring are kind of two, subsets of questions that we hear a lot, like just I don't know how to or I'm afraid to kind of things.
yeah.
Then there's the boring administrative aspects about bookkeeping and taxes, and lots of questions on that end.
Yeah, how do I keep myself organized? How do I stay focused? Even too, how do I overcome my fear? Annette, you mentioned fear, and I think that's a big thing.
So I actually don't think that people ask about that very often. I think the fear is present almost all the time, but I very rarely meet an entrepreneur that asks about their fear. I meet a lot of them that experience that. But almost everyone that I've ever met is afraid to admit that they're afraid.
So, in wrapping up, we know that, first of all, if anybody is making a venture into something new and unknown, there's going to be the fear element. And that's exactly why they need to find their support crew, which is always provided by one of our incubators or SBDC. And whatever kinds of questions, and I'm wrapping this up because I know we're out of time. So please, if you are an entrepreneur and you have questions and things are a mystery and you have fears, please bring them to us, because that's what we do, is we help you.
We've all been there. We've all done that.
Well said. Well said.
Very well said.
I think we'll pick this up next week. Thank you, Trish, for wrapping it up. Help me out. Makes my life easier. So I will see you guys all next week, and stay tuned. So.
And thank you to Annette for being a part of all of these.
Yay.
We're going to miss you.
Yeah.
I'm going to try. You have to keep inviting me, because maybe I'll just show up to some NASET TVs in the future.
Cool.
All right.
So I will be hopefully gone but not forgotten, and then also not gone.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
yeah.
everyone.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, bye.
Thank you.